Hello everyone, and thank you for joining. In today's video, we are going to be walking through how to place an inbound order, or more commonly referred to as an ASN, an Advanced Shipping Notice. On my screen here, you can see that we are logged into the WMS and on the dashboard page. To log into your dashboard, we ask that you use the login credentials that were provided to you at the time of onboarding. To navigate the system, you're going to want to click the period key on your keyboard. This will load the quick action search bar, and we're going to want to navigate to the ASN table. Once on the ASN table, you can see here that we can review all previously placed and received inbound orders. You do have the option to add or remove columns as you see fit by clicking here in the top right corner. A couple columns to be aware of will be your line of business. For today's example, we are using River Rafting LLC. You also have your PO number listed, the order date, the status. A few statuses to be aware of is the open status, which means that you've placed the order and we're in waiting for it to be received at our facility. We also have a canceled status, a partially received status, as well as a received status. The warehouse, vendor, and then finally line items. So a really nice overview of each of the orders before we dive into them specifically. Please note you can always click into here and see the order in a more detailed view. For creating a new order, we ask that you come up to the top right corner and click Create New. Once here, you're going to want to add in your line of business. Again, for today's example, we're using River Rafting LLC. Next, we have the PO number. You can enter in your own PO number. We do suggest and recommend using the auto-generate. Please do remember that this PO number does need to be referenced on the outside of your cases. It's also the number that you will reference when reaching out to our customer service team, and also the number that your freight forwarder will reference when reaching out to schedule delivery via email 72 hours in advance. They can do this by reaching out to orders@riversourcelogistics.com. If you have any questions or concerns on this, we do ask that you review your routing guide or reach out to our customer service department. Next, we have the vendor. Vendor is signifying the type of shipment that we're expected to receive. So full container, LTL, or small parcel delivery. You can ignore jobs. This is used internally for when we're doing workup and checking the items back in. For today's example, let's assume we're preparing to send in a full container. Moving along to warehouse, we're going to select Pico. That is our only facility at this time. This list will grow as we expand and move into other locations. Next, we have the order date. This is simply the date that you're placing the order. So for today's example, today's date, we'll put that there. Type will remain as normal, so no need to change that. As we move further down the page, you can see line items. We're going to go ahead and click Add. Once here, we've already added in your SKUs upon onboarding. If by chance you are sending us a brand new SKU, we ask that you please review that video on how to upload a new SKU into the system. Assuming that we're planning on receiving this full container with this SKU, we'll select that. What's nice is a full description does load here for us to confirm, and we are going to enter in the total number of units expected to receive. So assuming we're receiving 10,000 of these units, we'll put that there. Next, we're going to click Due Date. So due date is the estimated arrival date. So for today's example, let's assume that we're going to expect to receive this on the 28th. Please do note this is an estimated date. You can always re-enter this order and update this as need be. For distribution date, we do ask that you leave this as the same date that you're placing the order. This will ensure that your items are allocatable and able to be outbound shipped as soon as they're received and arrived. If you have questions on this or are looking to make sure your items are not seen or are held, please reach out to us or set this date out at a later date. The rest of these tabs you can leave blank and as is. If you have another SKU to add, simply click Add Another, or if this was your only SKU, you can click OK. For today's example, let's add one more together. Let's also assume that this shipment, we're expected to receive 10,000 of this item as well. Due date again, we set as October 28th, and leaving distribution date as the same date we're placing the order to avoid any discrepancies or issues in the allocation and making sure that we can see them once they arrive in the system. Go ahead and click off Add Another and then click OK. As you can see here that these do populate here, so as an extra confirmation, if we did need to edit or delete these, we can do that here as well using the cog button on the far right. Next, and moving further down, the only tab to be aware of is the Services tab. Here you can add in any product labeling, additional services that might be needed as we receive this order that you want to prompt our team to. So for instance, relabeling 10,000 of SKU XXX. We could put in there as a note to the team that this does require workup. Lastly, we're going to go ahead down in the bottom right hand corner and click Save. This entire page is going to repopulate. It shows that the record was saved successfully. And then up in the top right hand corner, we can now see some additional prompts. We want to make sure that you do add, prior to receiving this shipment, your packing list. This packing list should match identical to what you've put in here. This does include spare cartons or parts. If you want to create that, we ask that you create that SKU in the system as well, to make sure that we're inbounding exactly what's being received in that container or in that shipment. You can also see the status is open here. Again, just as a recap, you can always enter this. You can actions and edit in the top right hand corner if you need to come in here and change that expected delivery date. If you receive new information, again, by clicking edit, going to that cog, edit again, and coming to due date and updating us here. Assuming that that's all secured and ready to go, we're simply in waiting until this shipment arrives. Once this shipment arrives, you will receive an automatic email sent to you notifying you that it's been received. Please do remember that it does take 24 to 72 hours to fully check items in after the freight forwarder has delivered them to our facility. You can always log back in here and see specific notes that our team has left, as well as view the billing codes that were associated with this order and any files or photos that we might have uploaded for your reference or review. And that completes creating an inbound order. Once this is created, you can always navigate using the breadcrumbs up here in the top left to the ASN table again, where you will see the order that we had just created. We hope that you find this helpful and informational. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please do reach out to our team. We are more than happy to help. Thank you.